Welcome to Let's Talk Ed with Professor Chris. What a week it has been, and someday I've been getting a lot of questions about hosting this podcast, the process. Someday I will explain this whole one-man show, but it's been a very busy week, but nonetheless, we still have to get LTE going. Let's Talk Ed with Professor Chris. Welcome to Let's Talk Ed with Professor Chris, once again, the best college podcast, where we continue to explore the big questions about education, careers, and the future, but most importantly, the show that is empowering minds one episode at a time. I am your host, Professor Chris, and the author of Getting the Most Out of Your College Experience. Is it right here? Hopefully you have your copy, all right? Please do get your copy of Getting the Most Out of Your College Experience. All right, so what is today's topic? Well, it's graduation time. High school seniors are graduating. I have actually already done this topic here, but I also feel like this is a good time to do this. Our topic today is college. We're talking about college as our high school seniors are getting ready to graduate. So, I actually thought about doing the college or no college, which I've already done. You can go back and review that. But now I think for those that are graduating and plan on college, I want to provide some highlights and tidbits on how to pick the right college. So college or not college, the answer to that question is college, but we're going to be talking about how to pick the right college. And of course, yes, I have to start with this right here. Chapter 2 covers picking the right college. All right, so let's get to some strategies or some advice that I have for you. Once again, congratulations to our seniors that are graduating. My question is, are you ready for college? First, have you picked the right college? I'm not just saying, have you picked the college? Question is, have you picked the right college? So what I'm going to do today is to provide my best top 5 strategies for picking the right college. Are we ready? All right, let's get to it. Number 1, self-assessment. Before maybe your junior year, as you're getting ready for your senior year in college, you should be looking at, and sometimes, most times, by the way, your instructors should probably give you some hints here and there as to what your strengths are academically, right? So your self-assessment is assessing your academic strength. What is it? Is it in the math? Is it in the sciences? Is it in the liberal arts? Is it in the politics? Law, right? Some of these things here should be little traits that you could probably follow, and that is what I'm suggesting as your self-assessment. By the way, you don't need to have a concrete idea. Guess what? How many of us really did? How many of us have changed majors while in college? But it's a good start to know or to have an idea as to what your academic strengths are. So it doesn't have to be exact, but you need to have an idea as you're getting ready to go to college. What are you good at, right? Explore those areas. Traveling, reading, right? It will guide you. Examples in my case, I've always wanted to do engineering. Well, not really engineering. I always wanted to build bridges. And I had no idea what engineering discipline you even have to go into to design or build bridges until I was getting ready for college when I was told that is called architecture or civil engineering. Okay, so long story short, again, you're going to get a help, you're going to get a guide, but figure out what your academic strengths are. Some institutions, now as I speak, actually expect you coming into the door with some idea of what you want to do, what your interests are to get it started. So my strategy number 1, again, self-assessment. And by the way, at this point, you probably have about 20 colleges in mind, right, that you want to go to. So let's go to step number 2. College best fit. I'm hoping that you've done some assessment about yourself. Second point, college best fit, is what colleges align with your self-assessments and interest. This means you've done your research on all the different schools and their major program strengths, right? Not every institution is good at engineering, not every institution is good at liberal arts, but you're gonna do that research and find out which one, right, has the potential, that has the strength in your interested major. Remember, once again, if just in case you haven't been watching my podcast, you haven't heard me say this before, you're not going to go to Harvard to major in basket weaving. And once again, it is so wrong from any point of view. Okay? So, at this point, in my step 2, the best college fit as you're getting ready to align your interests with the different colleges, you should be narrowing down your choices. So let's say you're down to 10 colleges at this point. Okay? Step number 3, the best fit for the buck. We're talking money, 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 money. Okay. By the way, this is also the point where you should be asking, what's in for me as the student? I tell students, yes, you need a college, but you also got to remember the institutions that you're interested in are also interested in you. So what are they bringing to the table? We know what you're bringing to the table. You've studied really hard. You got the right GPA. You're getting ready to pick the right college. Sometimes, all these colleges are chasing you. What is the best fit for the buck? You got to figure out what fellowships, what scholarships, what other incentives they are bringing to you. And while you are doing this here, this is where I also know that sometimes some students are just thinking about all these big colleges because of maybe the athletic programs. There's not a time for that. By the way, if that is what you're interested in, then fine. But if you're thinking of the bigger picture, looking at the right fit, right, this is not a time where you're looking at institutions with big names. You are more interested in institutions for their best fit that aligns very well with your interests. So again, step number 3, look at what the other institutions are bringing to the table. 3, the best fit for the buck. At this point, you should probably be down to 5 colleges. Okay, step number 4, faculty to student ratio and what I call the visit. So note where college visit is on my top 5 list. It's number 4. College visit is not number 1 on my top list because once again, I started with my top list with about 20 schools. So we visit so many institutions. And by the way, you have to remember, I don't care which institution you go to, when you walk in, you're going to meet trained ambassadors, right? That are going to tell you about the institution. And almost every institution that you will visit seems so amazing and so great, which is why it's number 4 on my list, because if you start with college visits, you're probably going to get about 10 colleges that are all so persuasive and you're not sure which one to start with. It is number 4 on my list because at this point, you're down to about 3 colleges, which is very helpful because if you have to travel to these institutions, you only have 3 versus maybe 10 or 15 schools. Okay, so when you're ready for your college visit and you've narrowed your schools down to about 3, you're asking very, very specific questions. And my number 1 question is for you to investigate and ask about your interest program and the faculty to student ratio within that program. I get it, some institutions, irrespective of what your program is, will have very large numbers for the introductory courses. But you can also check with the sophomore, junior year what those faculty to student ratios are. And you're not going to beat their faculty to student ratio in a community college. So for starters, once again, community colleges are not or is not a very bad place to start. But again, number 4, faculty to student ratio, you want to ask about that on your visit. Okay. Again, at this point here, you should be down to probably about 3 schools. And students have said, well, some private institutions have very good faculty-student ratio, but once again, compare the finances of those private institutions with what you're going to get from the community college. Big difference, okay? All right, so that is, once again, my number 4 on the strategies for picking the right college, the visit or faculty-student ratio. Okay. Yeah, I'm running it down very quickly. Number 5, Number 5, you're down to your one and final institution. This is it. This is where you're going. But somewhere in your alignment, you're not 100%. And you shouldn't be, by the way, you shouldn't be 100% on your major. Once again, that is why we go to college, to actually map out or help us pave the way for our future careers, right? So, number 5 is what I call still in doubt, but at least you're down to the one institution that you want to go to. You followed all my 4 steps to this point here. All you have left now is a little bit of trust and a good friend. And by a good friend, I mean a faculty member, not your friend that is going to be in your classes for 1 semester. I'm not saying don't make friends. I'm looking at long-lasting friends, and it's going to be a faculty member, an advisor, or a mentor. It's probably going to be an instructor in your introductory course that you connect with, that you relate with. You can say, yes, I think I like him. Yes, I think I like her. I can relate. They speak my language. So after this class, week 1, I'm going to talk to them for some advice to kind of see what suggestions they have for me. And you're probably going to have to stick with that person. That's one of the best advice I could give to you as you start your college. Your best friend is going to be a faculty member or an advisor or a mentor. These are my top 5 strategies for picking the right college. For more on this topic, once again, chapter 2 of getting the most out of your college experience is right in there. Please tune in next week or the following week as we continue to explore the evolving landscape of education and careers. Until then, stay curious. Continue to ask Professor Chris, put your comments in the YouTube sections. Once again, we are empowering minds 1 episode at a time. Don't drink beer, but live beer. Balance, eat well, exercise, and rest. And congratulations, seniors. Congratulations, seniors. You did it. Hopefully this helps you. I know probably some of you have already picked your colleges, which is great, but see if these steps that I just presented kind of aligns with kind of what you did. And it's not too late, by the way, to kind of go through that process. Do a little bit of research here and there. I wish you all the best as you're getting ready to go to college. You're going to have a little break, maybe the summer if you're starting in the fall. Reach out to Professor Chris for all your questions as you get ready for college. Congratulations, take the cap off, fly them high, enjoy it, and we'll see you next time on Let's Talk Ed with Professor Chris.